Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
The last half hour, we learned about job opportunities, and the best way to get a good job is to get a good education. That's pretty common knowledge, I think. We're going to learn about some ways to get your educated self better educated. Crystal Flynn is here from Webster University, right? Got the school right, anyway.
Right.
Got your name wrong last time. And Julie McCammon from the College of Central Florida. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
Oh, you're Julie. Okay, and Carla. Going to Carla.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. And Lois
in the corner.
is being quiet today.
Yes.
So, good morning, Crystal.
Happy to be here. Good
How's
morning.
Happy New Year? Did you say?
Happy to be here.
Oh, happy to be here. Yeah.
We're excited.
What do you got?
Well, we're here today
You
to
look
talk
nice.
about-
I like that look on you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're here to chat with you about sharing some tips for students on being successful in going to college, going back to college, getting prepared for that, going the next step in college, all about getting ready, those resources, and how you can be the best student.
You guys already
possible.
started, right?
Actually, no, and it's a peculiar thing because usually all the dates for different colleges and universities don't line up, but this year they do, so classes start for all of us
really?
on August 19th.
August 19th.
Yeah, so still got
Okay.
a couple of days.
Yeah. So what is the biggest mistake people make when they first enter or get ready to go to school, to
I
college?
don't know, the biggest mistake,
Yeah.
maybe not being prepared, obviously, but I don't know.
I have a niece that's going to Tulane, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess she's got scholarships left and right, so which is
Nice,
good, but they're
nice.
still $4,000 short.
So that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
That is a big
being,
deal.
Being unprepared kind of runs the gamut of not thinking about, how you're going to pay for your classes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for college? Is your wallet ready for college? How are you
Yeah.
going to take care of those things? So, utilizing your financial resources.
So what happens, like if you don't have enough money, but you've accepted and everything, and you're short that $4,000?
They make you wash dishes and things.
There are so many unused dollars in financial aid every year at every institution, and I think a lot of times students fail to ask, to go to their financial aid office and fill out those applications. We have a great story about a student who spent 20 minutes filling out a scholarship application and got like $5,000. So
Wow.
sometimes you think that it requires a lot of work and it's competitive, and just really being willing to put yourself out there and look at what the opportunities are. Work study at a lot of institutions. I know every year at CF we have unused work study dollars, which is through
right?
through through the federal government. It's dollars that are available to students, and
So I think that's one of the good things about going to school in the town you live in, because then you can go back and forth and maybe speak to the people who know a little bit about doing those things, right?
Right. You can actually go into an office and speak to someone.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of online resources. I mean, all of our institutions have students who attend fully online as well.
Yeah.
So there's resources available. The biggest thing with going back to school or going to school for the first time from the financial perspective is to make sure that you've completed your FAFSA, which is the federal application for student aid. And you want to complete that. You usually complete it a year in advance, but if you haven't yet, the time is now. And once you do that, it puts you into that clearinghouse to see what you qualify for in the way of all kinds of financial aid. It also makes you eligible at your individual institution to be considered for certain scholarships and things like that. So it's pretty much the gateway to getting any kind of financial assistance. But sometimes what people don't think about are out in the community. There's also potentially other scholarships. If your friends or family are, not friends, but if your family are members in certain organizations, there could potentially be scholarships. Your insurance company could offer a discount for good grades. There's all kinds of little things here and there where help you save money or pay for a textbook.
And I think it really seems overwhelming, but if they do reach out, people do really want to help them. So it's just taking that
That's
step.
good to know.
Even when there's a long line, you think, oh no, but really it's worth just that little extra time.
And the long line would be at the school itself?
I would say in the financial aid office.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
I have seen longer lines, but the wait isn't as long as it may seem.
Are you at the end of the line? Are you the person we speak to? No. I always feel bad for that person because the next person's got the same question as the one before, right?
Well, we should do introductions. We skipped that this
Right.
morning. So I'm Crystal Flynn.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
the
sorry.
recruitment coordinator from Webster University.
Thank you.
And my two fabulous guests today are.
I'm Carla Wilson, and I'm the director of our Start Smart First Year Experience project.
Nice.
And I'm Julie McCammon, lead faculty for First Year Seminar, which is a fantastic class that all students earning an AA are required to take now at CF. And one of the things I wanted to say about one of this, when people don't come in prepared, it's often they haven't thought about the time that it takes not just in the classroom, but also work outside the classroom. They haven't really thought about that yet sometimes.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean outside the classroom?
So there's, homework to do, there's
That kind of stuff.
group
Okay.
projects, there's there's events to
Well,
do.
I thought maybe you were referring to, because you've mentioned before about like public service, like
Right.
getting those hours in, right?
There's that too.
Depending on your degree track, that may be required.
See, I could do that.
So it's all those things that happen outside of the classroom that sometimes we forget the impact they're going to have on the rest of your life and your day-to-day job and
Yeah,
your family and
that's
all
right.
of your responsibilities. So both of these programs that they represent are outstanding resources for new students coming in, specifically designed to make students super, super successful.
Crystal, I got a story to tell you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So I was frustrated with something on the internet, okay?
Okay.
So I called, what do you call it? Technical support,
Right.
right? And I get this thing, push 1 for this, 2 for that. Then you push that and it says push 1 for this, 2 for this. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, can somebody just answer the phone?
Right.
By the time I get a real person on the phone, I say, he says, can I help you? I say, you know what? You should get a real person to answer this phone. You shouldn't have always one after another after another after another, okay? And I was kind of blown off steam. I was pretty much nice to him, but I kind of hit him hard when he first picked up the phone. I get an email. Here's your transcript of your phone call. And I'm reading my own words going, why don't you get a real person? And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I was so rude to the guy. Didn't mean to be rude,
Right.
but it looks bad,
In the moment, it's kind of hard.
It's kind of weird because when you say you can do things online, like to get resources like that,
Sometimes it's frustrating when you've tried to do something online
So
and when you
much-
call a help desk or something like that, and the very first thing they tell you in the message is that you can go online for help.
is it because
right.
I'm old? I mean, the young kids just take this easier than I do?
I don't think that younger students necessarily prefer online.
I don't think so either.
They still, just like
really?
you, would like to have that face-to-face opportunity to engage in a conversation.
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, a lot of our students work or have other obligations, and so sometimes the only time they have is at 10:30 at night when their kids are put to bed. And
Yeah, that's true.
And so at least we do try to be very responsive in those ways. I know one of the things we've done specifically for financial aid is we now have something called a chat bot, and
Oh, no.
yeah.
Another bot thing.
Another bot.
No, it's good.
It's good? Yeah.
It's
It's
Yeah.
a really exciting new tool that we have available to our students that if they have a financial aid question, they can ask the chat bot. So like your push 1, push 2.
Is it a
they
real
can
person
type-
on the other end?
It's an automated generated
That knows the
messaging
answers to the common questions?
to the common
Oh, that's
questions.
okay.
Right. It's kind of like an FAQ, but instead of having to scroll all the way down every frequently
Okay,
asked question,
right, yeah.
you can type in, where can I find the information about, is my FAFSA complete? And then the chat bot will come back with an answer and say, this is the link, this is where you can find it. So a lot of times it just at least facilitates, and the answer may be, call our office between
Right.
this time and this time, but a lot of times they can get some of their basic questions answered so that they can avoid some of that frustration.
And maybe they've learned a few things along the way, like, oh, I didn't realize you could get there from this link, or check it. So maybe you've had a little bit of a remedy while you're doing that at 11 o'clock at night, because the reality is, the colleges and universities couldn't really have a center that's staffed 24 hours a day, or that would impact fees and things in other places that no one would be happy about. So the idea that they're utilizing resources like that, I think is pretty awesome. So you can get some questions answered. Take some
No, it is.
steps.
I have a
it's still
love-hate relationship with technology.
I think we all do. I think we
do.
love that instant gratification of being able to connect with certain things and entities and organizations, right away. And then other times,
Let me ask you a
it's better to
question.
be in person.
My niece is going to Tulane. Where is that? Is that Alabama? Where is Tulane?
It's Louisiana.
Louisiana.
New Orleans.
Kind of far away. for her. I mean, for the family, right? You know, you'd rather have your children here in town. And then once upon a time, Ocala didn't have a whole lot to offer, but
Right.
now we have so much. But when I said, why are you leaving town? Well, they have the program I want. So is that really true? Or in today's world, can you pretty much learn anything anywhere?
No, I don't think.
I think one of the things that a lot of people make the mistake is thinking that I can't get my specialized degree that I'm interested in Ocala. But what every student needs, no matter what degree they're pursuing, is a foundation of knowledge. And that first 2 years of education, that general education core, we always say, we hate to tell you this, but you're going to have to take English again and certain maths and history. But then they also get to explore some of their interest areas as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've developed is a series of academic pathways. And so if you think that you want to ultimately be a TV production specialist, we may not have that program specifically where that's your terminal degree, but we have an academic pathway in place now that says if you end up wanting to go to a university that has this very specialized program, here's what you need to do your first 2 years to get you prepared to do that. And the advantages of doing that with us.
You get some of it here.
Absolutely. And I can guarantee you that probably 95% of the same courses that you're going to take at a Tulane or at a university, you're going to take the same courses with us. The advantage of staying in your local community college is that you are going to have the opportunity to take them in much smaller class sizes. You're going to get a much more personal experience.
Oh, yeah.
With your,
That would work for
faculty.
me, yeah.
And I think that goes back to preparedness. I think making decisions and choices about what you value and what's important to you, recognizing and taking advantage of the opportunities that our local institutions provide you. I think a lot of people misunderstand the value of that, having that accessible, that
The
smaller.
parents, they get it because they don't want
do,
the kids
right.
to go far away. I think there's a certain allure about going
I think
a
there can be.
distance
For
away,
some
right?
students, I
Yeah.
think. And the other thing is the cost savings of attending local. At the end of the day, an outstanding English class is going to be the same English class and the same subject matter, no matter what classroom you're sitting in, all over the U.S. or even abroad. That's basically, it's going to be the same fundamentals. So whether you take advantage of local opportunities like the College of Central Florida and attend here and have your small classes and, go to school with your neighbors and friends and all of those things, or if you want to go out and far away, that's wonderful. We hope once you get those great degrees, you come back and then continue to enrich this community, because I think that's what makes an outstanding, thriving community is when we
Absolutely,
cultivate
yeah.
all those careers and all those interests and support all those passions and folks learn here and stay here and help the community continue to grow. That's my plug for Go Ocala. And I'm not even from here, so.
And back to financial aid, you said that your niece has got a lot of scholarships, probably a lot, because I think Tulane is close to $30,000.
Is that right? Oh, wow, I didn't know.
So
I only know what they're short.
Great school.
Right, she only has $4,000 that she has to cover.
Right.
Well, you could stay at CF, and that wouldn't even be your whole tuition for the year.
Right. So it's a huge difference.
same.
Huge difference.
But you know how much I'm going to be listened to?
That's true.
Oh, right.
As often as she listens to talk radio, that's how much.
I think about one of the other things to consider is when you're looking long-term, especially if you're an individual that's decided to go back to school and you're looking at the long-term financial impact of this decision, the idea that you could borrow much, if you're having to borrow, depending on what you qualify for, that you could borrow so much less and get the same education.
I know, yeah.
And then long-term, that means that once you've finished your degree and you're moving onward and upwards in your career, you're not having to sacrifice because you've kind of moved forward career-wise, but now you still owe money, so that increase in salary, you're back at even, and you put in all that hard work. And I see a lot of students who do that, especially because, I recruit for a graduate school, so I work with students who already have their bachelor's degrees. They've decided to come in and earn a master's in a particular field. And sometimes we discuss with them, well, we try to always discuss with them, that they really need to be planning out, how will this impact your career and what steps are you making to make sure that this is a smart move for you? We definitely want you to come in and earn this degree, but this needs to be a smart choice.
Return on investment.
Right, and especially, Exactly. You need to understand what the long-term outlook of this is going to be. If you go into massive debt and you can only get a little bit of a bump in salary, if any, that's not a good choice. So you need to be careful, really careful how you borrow, and don't, put yourself in a hole that, all
Now,
the trouble.
everything you just said makes sense. So somebody, I'm imagining the parent of the student listening to you right now, and they could send their child to you to talk to you about
Absolutely.
because you've got the answers,
They could come to the College of Central Florida.
and
have-
the kids might listen to you three. And you know what I mean? And because dad and mom, they're not going to be listened to as much. So it's a weird thing we go through at that age, right?
Well, and we do offer a lot of first-year specialized focused advising. So those first-time in college students, those students who are coming either right out of high school or maybe who've taken a break from their education and it's their first time attending college. We do provide very we call it intrusive advising, where we really try to, like Crystal says, really sit with our students and talk about what are your goals? Do you understand the implications of your decision to go to college? Are you ready for the commitment? As Julie mentioned, the time that things take. Are you ready to be engaged? Unfortunately, I think a lot of times what happens with students is all they've been told is you need to get a degree, but they don't really understand
Yeah.
why they need the degree.
How A plus B equals C, right? Yeah.
Right. And what it takes to get to that end, and why are you going there? And what is it that you want to accomplish when you're at the end of that? And so really having some authentic conversations with them. We have our students take some career assessments prior to registering for their classes. We also have them do some what we call a college readiness inventory and ask them questions like, do you work in addition to going to school? Do you have other obligations? What were your feelings about math and English? How confident do you feel in your skills and abilities? One of the number one predictors of student success is a sense of belonging in an institution. And so we try to cultivate that as much as we can, helping students feel connected.
I was always a slow learner with that. I always felt like I wasn't part of the community until I was like the late one. You know what I mean?
I think you're very typical.
I'm typical, yeah.
I think that.
I bet now that I'm older, I think that too. I didn't realize it at the time, though.
Yeah, I think, and so it goes both ways. I think the burden is on us as an institution to try to create opportunities for students to feel connected to us, but it also requires that the student put themselves out there as well.
Yeah.
To get involved, to join clubs, to participate in group activities, even things like Julie's class that she facilitates for us. They do a lot of community engagement, and community also means community within that classroom. So she has them
Correct,
do a lot
yeah.
of
I like that,
activities
yeah.
where they have to collaborate, and it models a lot of the skills that you need going into the work
workforce.
world. Yeah. And so as much as parents can encourage their students, no matter where they go to college, no matter what degree they pursue, no matter what they're doing, that the student needs to try to connect. They need to get
I
involved.
like that. That's good advice. If you're always here, what would you say to yourself if you could go back to your younger self? And that's impossible. But you can go to the younger people right now and tell them what you would have told yourself.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of what you're saying really would have been so nice to hear. And I mean, you're working with those people right now. And I bet it has nothing to do with age. I bet somebody who shows up 40 years old, they're brand new, they probably feel as left out as somebody who's 21, right? Or whatever, right?
I think that's true.
It is, and it may even more so. And then I think it's even more imperative that we find ways for students to connect because of social media, So oftentimes they feel like they can just connect on that, but they aren't like face to face. I heard a student, she came into a class and she literally never spoke to anybody else the entire semester. She went in, she did her work, and she left. And how sad that would really be. Why would you want to continue on if you were really just so left out?
That's where you need a camp counselor to sit next to her and say, hey, let me get you a cup of coffee or something.
Right.
Well, I think something that all of our institutions are also incorporating more so now, maybe more than ever, are those soft skills, incorporating those in all of the different programs. Our MBA program, for instance, has certain skill sets built in, so you're not just learning the fundamentals of a program. You're learning how to be successful in the field as a career. I've worked for a number of institutions. I'm a product of CF. I went back to school years later after leaving and making a poor choice, and went back and was successful. And I took advantage of one of their Direct Connect partnerships, which is through the University of Central Florida, who's often a partner with the show, but not in attendance currently. And that's just an example of one of the opportunities you have that you can take advantage of and move forward. I think what's really important is to understand that there are so many resources that all of our schools have to offer that you just need to take a moment and connect with us, and we can talk to you about how we can help you figure out what the best path is.
Oh, I hope they're hearing
how to
you.
help you be successful, create a plan. And I think who I would like to hear us today are the people who think, I've waited too long, I don't have enough money, my life is here, or
Yes.
I wasn't very successful in high school, so why would this be any better? And I think for all of those reasons, come talk to us and we'll tell you why you're wrong, and we can help you.
Yeah, I love that. And I do hope that message gets out there. That's why I like the fact that we record these.
Yeah.
Because I often think the people listening right now when we're live are not necessarily the ones who really need to hear it. It's the ones listening to the music station right now.
Right.
That mom and dad's going to say, listen to this video
Right.
that we did, that this radio station did or whatever.
Right.
And right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like I say, that advice from Crystal is true no matter, no matter where a student is, in their lives. And that I think taking that opportunity to reach out and figure out who it is. It may be that they connect with their professor. It may be that they connect with their academic advisor. It may be that they connect with their club advisor.
And there's always somebody, right? There's always somebody that
So
you're going to connect with, yeah.
So if you, figure out who that person or that resource is on your campus and physically go to places. Like we
Right.
just renovated our library to be a learning commons. A lot of what Julie said, because we have so many of our students are so disconnected. I walk down the hallways of, our buildings, and you'll see students with their phone in front of them, and there's someone sitting right across from them in the hall or right next to them in the hall. And
The
they're
other
not-
end of it?
Right.
And they're not talking to
Right.
one
Oh,
another.
no.
Well, they're not, they're not communicating with one another. Instead, they're on their, they're on their device. And so we're trying to create spaces, even physical spaces, to
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
encourage connection with one another, to have opportunities to engage in dialogue and to talk through and think about, that's, to me, that was the exciting thing about college, was the chance to argue my thoughts and ideas and to hear
Right.
conflicting ideas, for people to say things that I completely disagree with, and to have the ability to articulate.
Well, good for you.
So I
Yeah.
think that, and so developing those kinds of skills, like Crystal talked about, those soft skills, I think are so much more important than the knowledge that students necessarily get. It's really developing.
I like
those-
that, and I like that part of the culture of college, where you get to express ideas that you don't agree with, or hear ideas that you don't agree with, because you recognize that the person that you disagree with is smart.
Right.
You go, oh my gosh, I don't agree with this guy, but he's really smart. So what am I missing? It's kind of like olives. I used to watch people eat olives. They're like candy. I thought, now why don't I like them? They should be good. So I tried to eat them. Oh, I see. They were right. They're good all along.
Perfect analogy. There
It's
you
like
go.
beer,
All about
chocolate.
olives. It's like beer and chocolate. There's a story there we'll talk about later.
So when somebody comes to you, do these conversations that we're having right now, I'm guessing this doesn't happen. It's mostly probably about the money in the classes, right?
No.
Does a person new in school realize that I need a little help, fitting in and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I think what's great about all of the staff at the different institutions is that we're so well trained, and we're also utilizing our own experiences within education to recognize and realize when a student needs support. And although we certainly cannot identify every single thing a student needs, we can certainly kind of begin to offer those things that we knew were successful. We know we're successful for
So
ourselves.
you see it in the person
So
who
you
needs
can
it,
kind of
right?
start to offer those things and start to share. And a lot of times, once you open that doorway, I think students really will start to blossom and realize there's a lot of help there. There's mentorship opportunities. There's all kinds of support. And whether you're coming in to earn your associate's degree or you're deciding to go in for a graduate program, no matter what program you're looking at or changing your career entirely, we all have staff that can sit down and speak with you and help you figure out how to get there.
And I would
The good
say
stuff and the hard stuff and all of it.
absolutely, and that's what Start Smart has done for us. Is we have all at CF, we have all these different little safety nets that if they didn't get it from their advisor, they didn't connect with them. Well, then they'll be in first year seminar, and maybe that professor they'll connect with. And it's designed to be a smaller class. There's only 25 students in it, and to really be conversational, discussion based instead of just the teacher's here and the
you're
class
there.
is there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That's very, very boring. And
It's layers of support,
right,
right?
it
No
is
matter
all
where you're
layers
going
of
to.
support, no matter where.
Right.
And hey, I had a problem with financial aid. Well, you know what? I talked to this person there. Why don't you go there? Or
Yeah, right.
because that's really how we learn when it's our peers. And
This is good stuff. I hope that the people who are listening to this either now or later on use this information. So we have some really good schools in our community.
do,
And
we do.
I just hope that the kids anybody, I say kids, just whatever age you are.
I call my grandma students kids too.
That's right.
Do you really?
I love
We
all
work
my
with students
different
of
ages.
all different ages, yeah.
So see, if I was like the kid that just wasn't fitting in, like the lady who wouldn't talk, right? That would be me. And then if one of you came up to me and said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you be friends with this guy over here? He likes to play the piano, just whatever," then I would have a problem. I'd cling to one of you. I would say, "Well, can you be my friend? I don't know that
That's what
guy."
we're there for, and
Yeah.
we connect them with resources, and clubs, and all kinds of things.
We relish that.
Yeah.
I'd love you in my class
That's the best part of our days.
What do you teach?
for the first year seminar.
First year seminar.
So I would find a way to match you with someone who kind of did have similar interests, but it'd be a little more subtle than, hey, this guy plays piano.
She can put you on a group project together and
Yes.
have you accomplish a goal and develop some skills that way, so you're more comfortable. Because it's less. I think it's
Intimidating.
You have psychological skills, the three of you. I mean, really, if you think about it, you've developed that just by working with people.
Isn't that what soft skills are, though?
That's awesome. Can I tell you my prayer before we?
Yes.
I know we're over time. When I was a kid, I worked in factories. I hated them. They were noisy. There was so many people working there. I never got to know any of them. Okay, I'd see them at the snack machine. Getting that honey bun, and I ate a lot of honey buns. But anyway, so I said a prayer to God in the bathroom. I really did, and I'm not that religious, but I said, "Could you please get me a job where I work with people instead of machines?" And my whole life it's been that. I mean, radio was working with people.
It is.
I worked at an assisted living facility. It was working with people.
You talk to more people than any of us do ever, I imagine.
Isn't that
Just
crazy?
think about all the people that are listening.
I know.
There you go.
They see us on the first Friday art walk too. They'll come up
I
to
saw
us.
you just the other day. I waved at
They'll
them.
argue with us too.
That's fun, though.
I need you there when that happens.
Well, it's always good to be inspired by someone else's perspective and to hear some things maybe you didn't know, and if anything else, just be stronger in your own conviction.
Crystal Flynn,
Yes.
thank you.
Well, thank you for having us. You can reach me at Webster University, and that number is 861-9330 or webster.edu/Ocala.
Very good. Carla?
And at the College of Central Florida, 352-854-2322. And we do have registration available still if students would like to get into classes.
We do too.
So,
yeah.
so-
Still time. There's
Julie,
still
anything
time.
you wanna
There's
add?
still time.
No, just that there's still time. We'd love to have you in class and just come and get it.
All right, excellent. Thank you all for coming in. Lois, thank you also.
Thanks for having us.
All right, that was fun. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios.